Jacob Ramsey. Now we're talking. That is much more like it. This is the caliber of player that we need to be trying to get into West Ham. Not that trash like Fabio Vieira. Jacob Ramsey would actually be a very exciting signing and exactly what we need. It is going to be a very, very difficult deal to do. Will Sullivan stump up the money? We'll see. But the twist, the big twist in this transfer story is his agent is none other than Will Salthouse. That is right. Can William Salthouse make himself useful for once in his life and actually bring us a top caliber player like this? A player that we would not get otherwise. Can he be the difference maker? If we get this deal done, he will go up a few points in my book. I tell you that for free. Jacob Ramsey is quality and will bring much needed energy into our midfield. This would be a crazy, crazy deal to do. And it comes down to Villa nearly sold him, I think recently, a few weeks back. I think it was Spurs. They obviously had to sell players because of FFP. Then they sold their women's team to themselves, which is a loophole that still hasn't been closed. So I don't know why we don't just go ahead and do that if we got money issues. And it's eased up. But if they're going to want to go and further strengthen and splash some money out to really elevate their team, they're probably going to have to raise some more funds, right? They've sold the women's team to themselves, so it doesn't mean then they now have got 150 mil to spend. The restrictions have lessened, but this could be a very sort of good deal for both parties. I think it would be a loss for Villa, and I can see why Villa won't want to lose him. And it's all about him not wanting to come. But again, Salthouse needs to really make himself useful here. So according to ExWHUEmployee, by the way, this is shout out to X, full credit to him. The talks are said to be stepping up this week, intensifying. My philosophy has always been, you don't ask, you don't get. Now, as long as we're not spending weeks and weeks and weeks trying to get a deal that we just can't get over the line done, then, you know, that's one thing. But if you can gauge if there is willingness and interest in a deal to happen, let's do it. Let's get this deal done. The upgrade, my God, for Jacob Ramsey, for what we have, is huge. Is huge. He's 24 years old. He's strong. He's good on the ball. He's exactly the sort of player that I've been wanting to see in this midfield. This can really transform us. This one siding could just make such a big difference. So I think we need to pull out all the stops. Do what we can to get this done. You know, there's rumours David Sullivan is complaining that Graham Potter's targets are too expensive. Too expensive. This is after he threw 150 million at Lopetegui. The guy that Steidton didn't want to sign. The guy that Salthouse pushed him on. Salthouse and Sullivan owe this club for that shit and the mess they've put us in. Massively. Massively. Invest some money out of your own pocket, Sullivan. This is a deal not to be missed out on. So if there's any chance we can make it happen, do everything you can. Don't be complaining at Potter's targets. Oh, they're too expensive. They're too expensive. And trying to force shit on us. It's a false economy. You know what they say? You know, you try to save a few bob now, you cost yourself a lot later on. That's how it comes down to. So there's really no excuses. And people will sit here and say, "Oh, you're believing Sullivan's going to do this and going to do." I don't believe anything. I put out standards. This is what I'm expecting. I expect of Sullivan. I expect him to disappoint me. Of course, I expect him not to do any of it. But we have to hold him to a standard of saying, this is a deal we should be trying to get done. 100%. If we've got any ambition left in this club, any tiny ambition of being a decent team, Jacob Ramsey is a player we need to get through the door. Completely transforms that midfield. Be night and day. trying to get in just crap players like Fabio Vieira. It's just slow and weak. This is the opposite of Fabio Vieira. And this is the profile of player I've been asking for the midfield for like the past forever, it seems. It's been I'm wanting this type of profile. So, look, will it happen? I wouldn't put my money on it, but let's try. Salthouse, if you're watching, for once, make yourself useful. Get us a big, exciting signing. This is a marquee signing for me. This is the one for the window. Get this done. It changes my perspective on the season massively. So we'll see. Obviously, Villa have got to be willing to sell if the price is right. I think they will. And then Ramsey, if he can be persuaded to move down to London and persuaded that we are trying to, have greater ambitions of actually doing something in the league, then this could happen. But it's going to be very tough. Let's just hope for a miracle, right? That's all I can hope for. But if we can't get Jacob Ramsey, go and find a player out there of a similar profile that's in another league, that's cheaper, that has the similar attributes, because this is exactly what we need. They're maybe not going to be as good as Jacob Ramsey, but they can have the same impact in our midfield and bring the same energy.